Hey, I'm Dukes on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with Abzan Maverick, but still going ahead with the Blue Splash. This is predominantly for Leovold, which I really like in this version as a way to green suns for a Spirit of the Labyrinth effect. It's a really nice card advantage most of the time. We can protect it with Mother of Runes and Karakas. We can green suns for it, which is fantastic. So I think that Leo is pretty sweet. I really wish that Leo was printed as an Abzan sort of guild member instead of Bug, but what can you do? You can still add it into your Abzan deck, which is nice. The other card that's in here that I want to try out is Witherbloom Command. I've seen this pop up a few times in Green-Black Depths, and I think it's pretty cool for Maverick. It's a nice way to try to get a 2-for-1. It has some nice card advantage effects that way, and also it's just a pretty flexible card, which is nice. So pretty interesting to see if there's moments that come up where Witherbloom is just better than something like Abrupt Decay or Assassin's Trophy, or if Prismatic Ending should just be kind of the slot here. I am playing with 61 tonight just because, or this morning, because I do want to try it out as a 2-of to see it, but it was just replacing one Prismatic Ending, so we'll see how that goes. This version is on the Endurance plan, so playing the full 4 Endurances, the 2 Knight of the Reliquaries as just tutor targets, the 4 Mums, which I really like in the Spirit versions because you just have multiple ways to protect. And I think against Blue-Red Delver, Mum is really nice. So having the full 4 copies is where I want to be to protect cards like Spirit. Spirit here as a 3-2 split over Thalia, mainly because I think Spirit is a little bit more, has a bit more impact in the games where I want it. A lot of decks can play around Thalia to some extent these days. More of a speed bump, whereas Spirit can really put the brakes on a lot of opponents, which is nice. And the 3 power is relevant. It is obviously a faster clock, and if my opponent has a 3-3 DRC, then it is really nice that Spirit can trade with that if they really want to block. So that's pretty cool. Shifting Ceratops is a card that I've wanted to try out for a little while, just because of the Pro Blue, having another way to kind of keep something like a Murktide off the field is pretty nice. Can't be bounced, which is fantastic. So the tempo loss from like a Submerge or a Brazen Borrower is pretty huge in those sort of matchups. So having Ceratops is pretty cool. I'm still on Beast. I still really love the haste of Beast, so we'll see how that goes, but it should be pretty good. Hey Shades, hey Wilton, hey Maverick Joe. Yeah, so just testing out a few things, see how it goes. Down to 1 choke. Choke just hasn't really been where I've wanted it in recent times. Prismatic Ending is just a great way to deal with it. Delver's just so fast that choke against Delver isn't a great plan, because usually if you're tapping out on turn 3 for a choke, you're probably going to be losing to the creatures on the field. And Library's just there for the card advantage engine that it is against the decks where Spirit isn't that great. So in things like the Mirror, Depths, any sort of matchup where it doesn't matter if you're at 20 life or 4 life, I think Library's still a really strong card, so pretty happy to have that. But that is pretty much it. Just the trop for now in the mana base for Leovold. I do like being able to cast my cards, but I have seen some 5 lists of Maverick that are an Abzan mana base with a Leovold in there, which you can obviously cast off your Mana Dorks and Green Suns, but it is nice to know that if it is in my opening hand and I don't have Mana Dorks down, that I can fetch up the trop and hopefully cast it, so we'll see how that goes. That's it. Let's play. Let's play. Yeah, Bant's tough, Joe. There's been a few times where it gets so close to being the deck that you want it to be. Gameplay, nice. It is currently 12:12 p.m. on Sunday, which is nice. It's been raining all week, and I don't think the rain's stopping till Tuesday, so pretty nice weather to be streaming and playing some Magic. I think it's 3 weeks until May. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 weeks until Eternal Weekend in Melbourne, which is cool. Which is kind of probably Australia's biggest Eternal event. It was put off through COVID, but Eternal Masters is back, which is cool. The Friday is Pauper Vintage, and then it's a long weekend of Highlander Legacy and Modern. I think it's Legacy Highlander Modern, but pretty keen to go down and jam some games, which is pretty good. Yeah, Armageddon would be very cool to play around with, especially in like a green-white build. Just having that solid mana base. You could play Flagstones if you really wanted to, but Armageddon's a great way to punish a lot of these control decks with basics. Alright, on the play against Ardo. I don't mind this. It's missing a threat. That's what it's really missing. But otherwise, it's pretty good to go, which is nice. I can cast everything I really draw into. I can go for a turn 1 Mum. There is a world where turn 1 Birds is better, because if they're on combo, we have the live draw of Green Sun Zenith for 2 on turn 2 for Collector Oof. But I'm not too sure. They've mulled to 5. Which makes me think they're a combo deck. A mull doesn't really give away too much, but... I think because we have both mums, I don't rely on one living. So I think the better play here is just Savannah for birds. This means if the birds goes, we can still cast 2 mums on turn 2, or even mum and play Dryad Arbor. Yeah, so it's going to be birds. Oh, they're currently 5-0. Oof. Or 4-0. Island Ponder. Okay. If this is Delver that's mulliganed aggressively, we'll just add like a bad hand, then double mum here is great because they can't get through both. And there's Witherbloom coming in, which is awesome. I'll play Mum. Now the question is, do I play around Days? Because I can play the Dryad Arbor out if I really want to. It turns my mana on for next turn. I don't mind trying to even see if they're a Delver deck. No. Okay. Nyamav? Nice. I do think when it comes to competitiveness, Nye is in the best position, especially with access to basics. Sorry, to blasts. Another reactor spell is not really where I want to be, but I think against double blue here, I'm happy to attack with 2 creatures. But yeah, this hand was missing a threat, and we really want to draw into one pretty quickly. 3 blue. Okay, that's a pretty good card against the blue deck. Let's have a quick think of how we want to cast this. I think it's going to be these 2, and then we can hold up Witherbloom or double swords if needed. Especially if this is like High Tide, then the Spirit's really nice. I will attack with a Mum because we have double swords for Hull Breacher. But this could just be like no, I was going to say end step Intuition potentially, like a mono blue show and tell deck. More islands. This could also be like a Pact of the Titan. This deck. And I can't even give pro here because it's at split second. And I can't also cast it either. Tough. Yeah, I don't think I have an out to this. For people who don't know this deck, the deck has sudden substitution, which is split second, exchange target non-creature spell and target creature. Then the spell's controller may choose new targets for it. So they kind of make me make the pact, and then I can't, of course, pay the upkeep cost. Unless I had the birds around, which is really tough. Because it is 5, it's not... I thought for a second it was going to be double red, but it's not. And unfortunately... I guess I can't because it's 5 mana anyway, so... Old G. Old G. I think the removal is dead. But it's probably worth trying to find a deck. Sudden substitution. So usually on MTG Goldfish, it shows you decks in specific formats. No decks found. Okay. That's going to be a tough one. It's really the Deafening Silences, the Choke, the Library. I don't mind just more creatures as well. Let me quickly see if I can find something. But yeah, it looks like most decks are just going to be instant sorceries, which is tough. Brian played a list recently? Okay. Come on, timer. Bosch and roll. Videos. What's it called? Sudden substitution. I wonder if I can search that in here. 3 weeks ago. Decklist. Alright, we found one. We found one, team. Spells, enchantments. Okay. So play show and tell as well. Interesting. Which makes me want to take out the swords, of course. I wonder if force is just worth it. Something like this. We have 20 seconds, so let's just quickly have another look if I can. I'm going to assume it's pretty similar to this. Leyline, Fairy. Yeah, instant sorceries. Yeah. This is probably going to be just what it can be. I don't think that Mindbreak Trap is going to be a thing because it's just a little bit too... They're a little bit too quick. I'm probably okay with this. Turn 1 bird, turn 2 spirit. Hey Echo, welcome. Hope you're well. Hey Bebot, welcome. Okay. Land pass. No. Okay, that landing is pretty huge, but it could just be a world where they just have like Ancient Tomb, Show and Tell, Hive Mind, Pact. Hopefully not. Hey Boyd, welcome. I could get Dried Arbor here, but I think I'd rather make sure I have a third land, because I don't really want to have an extra creature in play. Or do I? It means I could attack potentially for an extra damage. Okay. I think here I just want to attack with the Spirit and then double spell in Spirit and Mum. I think it is. They did go off with the packs on turn 1. Oh no, in game 1 with our Pact of the Titan. Another Spirit. Mum. We do have Night of Autumn here, which is quite nice for like show and tell into Hive Mind, but it might not even be. We might just be dead to Sudden Sub and Pact here. Yep. Tough. Cool games. Cool games. Yeah, boy, there's a new card called Sudden Substitution, which I believe is a 2 and 2 blue, instant with split second, target spell. You can switch target spell and target non-land permanent, I believe. So we'll see if I can quickly find it. I just had it up. Yeah, this card. So, instant, split second, exchange control of target non-creature spell and target creature spell. Then that spell's controller may choose new targets for it. So, they exchange their Pact on the stack for my creature. I've class, I can't do anything. And then my upkeep, I can't pay for my Pact. So I lose, which is tough. Yeah, you just pack Sudden and GG. Yeah. Definitely a probably a nice deck to just grind leagues with. Yeah, sadly we don't really have the just don't play creatures, but it would be interesting. Opponent on Adnor's Tendrils, potentially. This has no white mana. It does have like green suns for birds, but I think there's a better 6, especially on the draw. And this is pretty good. It does have an abundance of removal, so I think we're just going to bottom a Swords here. And if they are on a Storm deck, we have a turn 2 Oof. Okay. Yeah, main deck Oof is really nice with Green Suns because it's kind of one of your bullets that kind of takes the place of what Gaddock Teeg used to do against a lot of the decks where you needed like a good combo hate piece. And as Maverick hasn't seen Stoneforge in a little while, it's quite nice because it doesn't really hit us too badly, which is cool. Hey, D5. But 8 cast is another big deck that Oof is quite good against with all the baubles and the pedal effects. And then, yeah, having it against things like Tess and Ant is quite nice because otherwise you don't have a great turn 2 play. Punishing Fire. Yikes, okay. Well, the Oof might not be as great here. I don't mind the Thalia, though, as just a taxing effect, especially if they're on a DAC version of like a Stifropile. This mana base. Oh, okay. That's not too bad. Probably double white. The forest also is interesting. Double white means if we draw into any land, we can play Knight, hold up Swords, which is kind of nice. Thalia. They just got rid of one with the trophy. So I kind of just want... There's actually a few things here. We could either play the Thalia again, or play Knight and then double spell next turn. Ruby Storm as well, that's a good one. I think just jamming Knight here is fine. If they miss like a land drop here, then we're looking pretty good. They don't. Oof. Alright. They're also respecting Caracas a lot. Wasteland. Okay, I can take them off green here or red. Red signifies a lot of removal like Punishing Fire. Green probably more so for... Oof. Tarmogoyf potentially? Leovold? I think it's going to be the red, because like Grove into Punishing Fire would be pretty brutal. And then just getting out creatures. The oof here most likely just a vanilla 2/2, but could be worse. Jeez. This is fine. We actually win the race, which is nice. Deed is fine, especially seeing that we have the ending for it. I think here I'm just going to Swords the Snap and Bash, but I could also just start attacking with the Knight and keep the oof back. So the reason to hold the Swords is for a card like Baleful Strix, which is a little bit more annoying. I think I'm okay with that. Canopy is quite nice, because now we can deal with the Deed, and then either hold up Swords or hold up draw a card. Probably could have also attacked first, but then they might have just blocked. I think they're less likely to block now and just take the damage. I mean, Deed really good against like some of the 8-cast decks. They hold back. Interesting. I will try and draw a card here. Oh, okay. That's pretty good. Okay. I'm pretty happy to jam with both here. Red. Okay, they have Bolt. Sure. Ah, Legend, thank you. Alright. Two cards left. One card left. Happy to attack first. See if they throw a removal spell at a spirit. They don't. Mum's pretty nice. I mean, another Deed would be pretty brutal. Not keeping the fetch land, interesting. Dak. Dak's gonna be fine. You gonna Dak me? Dak themselves. Okay, so you just discard 2. Yeah, or discard the 1 card in hand. Interesting. So this is gonna be like a chase kind of version of this deck. Okay. I assume Plague Engineer. I like the Library, the Choke, the Tireless Tracker. They're probably the big three. I'm going to assume Plague Engineer. The Oof is a pretty easy cut. I like the Endurances, especially against Punishing Fire. The Knights are fine, the Leo, the Knight of Autumn, the Grist is all great. It's probably going to be... Witherbloom's pretty interesting as well, but dealing with a lot of their creatures and things like Snapcaster Mage, maybe even Baleful Strix is kind of nice. Mother of Runes. I kind of just want to cut on some of these cards. I think it might literally just be these three. Swords are still pretty strong. Not as great though. Yeah, Shifting Ceratops is pretty interesting as well. Especially if they do have Trophy, but maybe like I don't need the extra swords and just having extra beaters is better. Especially ones with haste. Getting through like a Snapcaster or Strix is pretty cool. I'm not even sure if Strix is in the deck, but it kind of makes sense. It replaces itself straight away, which is cool. Hey, thanks, Master. All the best. Sleep well. Sweet dreams. It's always tough dropping Mum against the deck with like Punishing Fires and Bolts, etc. But I think it's just where I want to beat, and I have a massive blowout from Plagues. But yeah, I'd love to have a hand with like 3 lands, and this is pretty close to it. So getting that library down would be awesome. It does have triple Green Suns, but we are going to Green Sun straight away for a Dryad Arbor, so pretty nice to have the shuffle effects as well with library. I could cut a Mana Dork, but I really like getting ahead on mana in this sort of matchup. And I do have Grist in the late game to kind of make use of them. Probably just going to get a Bayou here, which turns on all my mana. Yeah, P5 is just a really nice way to deal with my Mana Dorks as well. So at least here, we get to double spell already, which is pretty sweet. They also don't have up mana for something like a Assassin's Trophy. And at least if they have like an end step Punishing Fire... No. Okay. Well, I guess if they have like a Plague Engineer here, we can then Green Suns off the Dryad Arbor for Grist, potentially, and then deal with it. Yeah, Grist is pretty sweet. I do like the new versions of like the Dwarf decks with Changelings that allow you to like Grist away everything. Okay. I feel like the forest here is really punishing my opponent. And this is most likely a matchup where I'm happy just to pay. What are we doing? That's the big question. Knight would be a 3/3. Yeah. I mean, if they have something like a Deed, then I don't mind getting down to 11. Land for turn. I actually really like Leovold here. I think Leovold's a fantastic card. Because it really punishes them if they do have something like a Hymn or like a Punishing Fire left. I could also go for Grist and start ticking up Grist. But I like that Leo turns off Brainstorm. We also have... Leo or Grist? Leo or Grist? I kind of like leaving Grist for the later game, but there is a world where we just don't need the card advantage right now, and that Grist is better at going wide. Yeah, I don't mind Grist. Oh, we bottom. No. Oh, punished. I was gonna say we could use the library to then make sure we're not milling stuff we want to have in our in our deck, but oh, we can't even return it. That's pretty hilarious. And they have a Sackle. Okay. That's right. I guess we can Endurance ourselves, which is kind of cool. If we really want to. There's currently only one land in the bin, so I don't mind that. And there's the Endurance, so... I probably don't want to go to 7. Like, double bolt is definitely a thing. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. I think the land drop is more crucial here. And this is a matchup where Library is fantastic. Like, Spirit's still pretty strong, but this is a case of where you don't have Spirit and you have Library and it's fantastic. And even if we didn't have the Library but had a Spirit, it wouldn't be too bad either. They're going to bolt that. Interesting. I'm just going to get a Savannah here. Plague. Okay. Yep. Oh, Ceratops is pretty nice. Two cards in hand for my opponent. No blocks. Okay. I was gonna go for Scrib Ranger. Tap the Dried Arbor, return a land. I kind of like just going for 3. And probably just getting a Knight. It is just a 3/3 though, which is a little bit tough. Especially in the face of Bolt or Snapcaster Bolt. They attack. Huh. Going to 8. This kind of makes me feel like they have a deed. They're at 15. They have 2 cards. actually pretty keen just to take it and make them have like a deed or some sort of effect on the knight. Okay. Beast is pretty sweet. Wasteland also pretty strong. Do I want to go to 4? Probably just put this back in Green Suns for it. I don't mind trying to take them off black. They do nothing. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just leaving the insect back because I kind of want to block Plague Engineer with it. I don't want to block with the Beast. Uru is okay. Interesting. They can't block the questing beast, which is nice. Endurance is really sweet here as well. We'll start with attacking with the beast. And then just main phase this endurance. I don't think we've played a land, so I can get back Wasteland and take them off black. I could also drain them. Get back Wasteland. Play the Wasteland. Take them off black. Nice. Okay, they go to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, so close. Like shifting Ceratops. Ooh, okay. And like swords as well. Oof. I think I like getting Ramanap here. And just going for the Wasteland Locket to some extent. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one for them. Really nice in that game to show the grind that Maverick can have. And really, a lot of it on the back of Sylvan Library. And just managing your ability to always have some sort of advantage with either card advantage or just allowing you to play more than one creature a turn to play above their removal game. But yeah, opponent also just didn't really have anything until turn 3, which is tough because then I get to set up either early mana or I get to go with other stuff like Mum or Spirit. But nice to be on the board for sure. And hey, I got a new Discord. So if you want to check it out, you can find it there. Which would be kind of like a hub. Tony, okay. We're up against a Storm deck. And I think like a turn 2 Thalia is probably the best hand that I can have. So I'm going to keep this. Also having access to swords for Bergie is pretty solid. But just really hoping we get to keep our hand here. They also kept a 7, which is kind of scary. I think leading with Bird is better than holding up Sword, because then we can turn to Thalia and removal, or removal and then Thalia. So we can hope. We can hope. But when your opponent has an opening and they're counting, it's never really too good. But hey, we have some pretty good sideboard cards. We have Mindbreak Trap, which is pretty solid, and Deafening Silence. So they're the big hitters. Hey, Sajad. I know that some players have been having a good time with Mystical Dispute as well, which is pretty cool. The card's pretty awesome. I think Tyrone was playing around with it, which is cool. I know that Maverick Joe, I believe, was trying it out in Bant. Has some nice flexibility to it, which is cool. Yeah, got to fight the Delver Menace for sure. All right. Grim. 3 mana. Defense grid. Okay. Oh, and they have the Echo. Yikes. Okay. Well, if we get a turn, we could be doing okay. I mean, if we get a turn, we get to Oof and Wasteland, which is sweet. But that's the thing with Maverick. You gotta get that turn. You gotta earn it. So, opponent here with a mana floating and 7 cards in hand. So not looking too great for us, but you can see how close Legacy can be. Like it comes down to the wire sometimes, because Oof and Wasteland is pretty much lights out. They would have to somehow get a lot of mana going, probably through Rite of Flame to Burning Wish for Grape Shot. But I think this is sadly going to be it. Jeez. Last card. Burning Wish. Yeah. Alright. A little bit too easy sometimes. With a Bloom. I don't... I definitely want the traps. Deafening Silences. Forces. Oof. Knight. Leo. Trap. Ramanap. I think Ramanap can probably go. It's not really getting to that late game. Questing Beast can go. There is a world where Engineer's okay because of empty, but I think we kind of just want to sideboard in a way that they can't empty. Swords is still really strong against Bergie, but I'm not too sure how great that is. It's also a case of, like, do we care about Prismatic Ending, or do we just want to lock them off things with Collector Oof? Grist can come out. I think if we're getting to the stage where we can, like, Green Suns for Grist to take out Bergie, we're probably in a pretty strong position anyway. Hey Rain, welcome. I don't mind having like a Plague or 2, just to have an out to empty. I think this is gonna be it. Quick think, yeah. Library's interesting as well, but I think I'll just try to see if we can get like a Deafening Silence Mindbreak Trap hand. This is pretty close. It doesn't beat out on like it loses the Deafening defense grid, but otherwise it's pretty strong. We have mana acceleration. We have a threat. Our mana's just pretty impeccable, so opponent goes to 6. As of turn 2, we also just have like hold up 3 mana with Mindbreak Trap if they do have defense grid turn 1. I'm going to use the Verdant here to go and get a Bayou. We also have 3 mana for ending next turn, which is pretty cool if they try to like Burgie and then pass. The issue is like if they have like a hand where they just go like a bunch of things and then like Echo. Even if we Mindbreak Trap the Echo, they have so many live draws off the top in tutors and other effects. But this could possibly be a matchup where you just have to mulligan for Deafening Silence and nothing else. So there's Burgie. That's going to be okay. Oh, they are going to pass. Okay, so that's quite nice. Do we keep the fetch land? I think we just keep the fetch land here. Play Forest. And then black, green, white. Okay. 1, 2. They have 1 card left. It's going to be a big one, I think. Relay. So we let the storm triggers go on the stack, and then we trap each of them. Nice. And then we draw Green Suns for Collector Oof. So close. So close. I think I'm going to keep the Windswept Teeth for Dryad Arbor here and not attack with Bird. I could also just make sure I get my mana online so that something like a few spells into a Grape Shot can't just wipe my board. Yeah, I think that's fine. Spirit, Noble, attack for 1. But there's definitely live draws here. Really need Oof. Really need Oof or Deafening Silence. Like the Horn thing? Yeah, like that's pretty good. I'm just going to name Goblin here. Oh, no. I definitely tapped my mana wrong. I should have held up white for swords. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. Okay. It's pretty good for us. Sure. Alright, attack for 5. I will play I will play the Trop in case they think of like Fluster or something. They could also think of like Hardcast Trap, but I need the actual mana up for that as well. What do they hit? Oof. Yikes. 1, 2. They could for 3. Takes out both of these. This is the kind of moment where, like, Questing Beast isn't too bad. If you can really slow them down with your hate bears and other pieces of hate, then having the hasty threat is quite nice. Interesting. Should have used the mum there, the bird, I think, just in case they have a way to deal. They hit a Burgie. Okay. But that doesn't do enough because we have the mum to protect. They have 0 cards in hand. They're at 2 life. Well, I definitely don't want a swords. Am I missing something? Surely not. Yeah, okay. Do I want to sideboard any differently? On the draw, it's definitely a case of just trying to go for these 6. I still like swords for Burgie. I wonder if they actually play basics. MTG Tony Skiponi. The Epic Gamble. No basic, no basic, no basic. Okay, well then Path is just a better swords. I think it's just going to be the run back, honestly. I don't think like most of these cards do anything. It's really these cards, especially on the draw. So sadly we can't go down to 60, but that's okay. We'll just hopefully get a hand with some sort of turn 0 interaction. A nice hand with the Deafening Silence, but no white mana, and just a little bit too fair. I will keep this though. I will keep this. We have Mindbreak Trap and also Force with Dried Arbor to pitch. So I think I might just bottom the mum here. It's kind of the card that I don't really care about. There is a world where if they play like Artifact into Chrome Mox, then I'll try to force the Chrome Mox before they get to pitch a card so they can't tap it for mana. But this is a 6 I'm pretty happy to keep against a combo deck like the Epic Gamble. Let's start with Petal. Okay. Okay. Now the question is, getting to 3 mana or Wasteland? I kind of feel like Wasteland here is better because we do have the 3 mana coming up potentially. The Dried Arbor does have summoning sickness, but I think that just trying to hit them potentially in a way that could buy us another turn is where I want to be. Yikes. I mean, honestly, we don't have a great play. Like, I think Wasteland is just being something that I can do this turn is better than trying to get to a mana for Spirit or Thalia. Okay. I think we can update this. Oh. Moonsliver key. Tough. Not too much to say. Nice to have the traps though. Obviously, defense grid is a really nice play around to what our hand was and just like free spells, but yeah, definitely one of those matches where you kind of hope to get the draw twice. Oh, the play twice, sorry. I think it could be great or it could be useless. Player BNEWG. Legacy Elves. Interesting. I don't mind this for Legacy Elves. Okay. Not elves, but still not too unhappy with how we're looking. But I do need that, I guess Witherbloom Command getting back the Wasteland is also pretty strong here. Cloudpost with Wasteland. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been wastelanded by club host either. So, welcome to the 1-2 bracket. Okay, that's pretty nice. Go for Bayou. Do I want to mill myself? I think I'd rather just see more of their deck, and then we get a land back. Forsaken Monument. Interesting. And Metalworker? Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Sure. I'm pretty happy just to get Knight into play this turn. And then next turn we can get Ramen Up going with Wasteland. Okay, surely this isn't a Force of Will deck as well. Yeah, Knight and Ramen Up quite nice. Metalworker. Okay. Chalice is tough here because it deals with the swords, which means the Metalworker is pretty much off the table. How do I want to do this? I think it's just going to be fetch into another Savannah. Oh, we can't. Okay, that's okay. Probably just Scrubland then. Play Ramanap. And then it's probably the Inventor's Fair, as they can get mana off this. But the Metalwork is a great way to get around the Wastelands here. Especially with 6 cards in hand. Ooh. Okay. They show 3 cards? Lodestone, Wormcoil, Staff. Okay. Big yikes. Hey Shade. Yeah, have a co-stream coming up. I got to get onto Jesse, who's a guy from Melbourne, who I've done a co-stream before with Ant, which is cool. And then I have one with Jack as well on Blue Red Delver, which should be pretty good. Opponent here can get Wormcoil into play. They could go Staff into Wormcoil, which is pretty cool. But yeah, Wormcoil is going to be tough. I guess we could do something like get back fetch land, get Dryad Arbor, block, and then sack it to the Knight before damage, and then maybe get in for lethal that way. Hey Squeeman, thanks for the follow. Hope you're well. Oh, excuse me, Khan? Yikes. Maybe just getting a Lattice here, potentially. Or getting a Tormod's Crypt to take out that Wasteland in the bin. And then they can cast Lodestone as well. Sky Sovereign? Okay. That takes out the Ramanap. But now we get to kill the Khan, which is cool. Oh, Green Suns. We can Green Suns for Oof here, which is pretty strong. I think that's just going to be the play. Yeah, kill the Khan, then Green Suns for Oof, which turns off Metalworker being an artifact creature. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Collect Oof. Attack Khan. Green Sun's a fantastic draw there. This is nice as well because we didn't play the Wasteland tapped, so they can't Wasteland here. They could get rid of the Cradle if they really wanted to, but they might also just use the full formatter to cast Lodestone Golem. Or get Staff into play. But Staff does nothing with the Oof, so I think it is just going to be tap out for Lodestone. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, pretty nice to see some old school cards. Definitely respect that. The bird is free. We then have access to 3 mana of Cradle, which allows us to cast Endurance and instant speed if we need to. Now we have Wasteland as well. Ah, it costs 1 more. Does that change things? No, I think getting the blue into play is relevant. Oh, the Chalice, of course. No! No! Oh, that's classic. That is hilarious. I think I'm just going to waste the waste and then start getting aggressive with the Knight. Come on now. Yeah, Chalice is just one of those cards on MTGO which I acknowledge when it comes in, and then, you know, 8 turns, literally 8 turns down, I'll just be like, oh, here's a 1-drop, boom. But, yep. Look, sometimes you learn the hard way. We know that 2 cards in the hand as well are Wormcoil and Staff, so this Knight as an 8/8 is going to close out the game pretty quickly. They're probably going to have to start chump blocking as well with the metal worker at some point. Okay. I think Wasteland here, them losing the mana is just so much more of a downside than the upside of being able to Wasteland us. Okay, so right now we could potentially Green Suns for 2, 3, 4. Green Suns for 3. Green Suns for 2, sorry. 2 for the Green Suns, 1 for the green, 1 for the Lodestone, and 2 left over. Which would allow me to get Scrib Ranger, which is kind of cool. Which now allows me to attack with the Knight. Probably could have attacked with the Collect Oof there as well. That's probably just a missed damage. I could also like untap and then like sack before damage, but I think this is looking pretty good. Tough spot for my opponent for sure. Oh, they do attack. Alright. Untap this, return this. I don't think there's anything here to worry about. Yeah, I think my opponent just didn't see that line. Okay, I think this is a matchup where the mums can come out. I like the forces. I also don't like the spirits. I kind of like the Sylvan Library. I'm just going for a more grindy game. The Tracker. A Path is definitely interesting. Shifting Ceratops isn't too bad. It's just another threat. Yeah, I might just take in the extra Path. Nice. Hey Racket, you are more than welcome. One thing I can definitely do better in regards to being a representative of the Maverick community is update the primers. The primers are pretty old on the Green Sun Zenith. A lot of the core information is still relevant, which is nice, but it's definitely on the radar to go back through them and update a lot of that. So I'm happy you're happy. This hand isn't too bad. I'll keep this and bottom the Endurance and just try to get double Knight going. Oh, Wasteland Pass? Big yikes. Okay. Probably just gonna go for a basic into Dryad Arbor. Nice. Yeah, now the Reliquary is a pretty good reason to get into Legacy Mav. I mean, in this matchup it's quite nice because we're only playing 2 Knights. We have them both in hand. Will they Wasteland us, or do they want the mana themselves? It's definitely no downside to drawing and seeing what you draw into. 3 mana. Metalworker. Okay. Well, this is pretty nice because now we have the collector oof. Green white's a great point, great starting point to learn the deck from, especially for a paper metagame, because then you can really work towards if you want to have the blast effects because you have a lot of blue decks in your metagame, or you want the black splash for things like tribal decks where you want Plague Engineer. So green white's really nice, and a lot of green white. Like, once you start adding in colors, you're not losing out on too many cards. So it's not like you're buying into green white and buying expensive cards that you won't use in the other decks. Like Savannahs are probably the big one, and you're going to be using them in all versions of Maverick, which is cool. I think it's just going to be hold the Verdant for a white source and just play Oof here. This means if they try to remove the Oof next turn, and then try to use a Metalworker, we can path the Metalworker in response to removal on the Oof. This also saves the white source that we currently have from Wasteland. If I had to choose between Black-Green Turbodeps or 8 Mulch for a tournament, I would personally take Turbodeps, mainly because of my experience with the deck. But 8 Mulch is definitely a deck that can just get people as well, and has put up a lot of good results. Walking Blister. This is fine, especially seeing that we have the Oof in play. I also want to draw into a white source here, so I'm not going to fetch an end step, because I really want to play a Knight and then hold up the path again. Birds. 1, 2, 3, untap. Okay. Well, here we could also do something like fetch for... I actually don't mind this play. Let's go for Savannah. And then let's Green Suns for Scrib Ranger. And now we get to untap Dried Up or return the Savannah. Play Savannah as a white source. Play Birds as a white source. And then just pass. Now we can also save the Savannah from Wasteland because returning a forest you control is part of the cost. So it's not like they can go Wasteland on Savannah and then respond to Scrib Ranger with the other Wasteland. No attacks. Interesting. And now we're looking really good. We just get to go 1, 2, 3, Knight. And then untap, return. Play this. 1, 2, 3, Knight. Oof. Now they can Wasteland the Savannah here, but now we have Birds open as a white source for path with Scrib Ranger. So we're looking pretty good here. So we'll see if they go for an end step Wasteland or not. They don't. Caracas, okay. Currently have 4 mana. Oof, just so strong here. Chalice for 2. That is going to be fine. I'm pretty happy here to just untap as well. Oof. Yikes. Opponent's not going to like this. Tough one for them. But hey, we're back at 2-2, so let's finish this, hopefully on a high, and close it out. But I think that's a really good showing of where Maverick still has a lot of game is against the Cloudpost decks. But opponent not having a version with something like Pithing Needle, like a turn 1 Needle on Wasteland, is pretty tough. Obviously, they were playing Wasteland themselves, so probably a build where Needle isn't as great as it is a bit more two-sided, but cool game. I think the big issue for them there was not having a turn 1 play, for sure. Alright, yeah, let's keep this. We have a turn 2 Birds into Spirit, which is kind of cool. I won't fetch. Hey Ben Steph, thanks for the follow. A late message, but thank you. Days Undoing, yikes. Narset, okay. Or do they have like LED in hand and they're just gonna try to go for like an Echo? We do have the Spirit here, which is really nice, but... Oh, they found the Echo? Oh, but no LED, okay. Swords. Alright. I'm just gonna jam the Spirit. Nice. And now let's go for Mum off Savannah. And then next turn, if we draw a land, we could potentially Leo off Green Suns, just to have that extra way to make sure they're not drawing any cards. But currently looks like their only way to deal with cards is bounce. Saga's pretty good. Khan? Yikes. Hey Council, welcome. Green Suns for Arbor better, because I'm making 100% Leo. Yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe that is very true. Another Spirit is pretty nice here. I don't mind Green Suns for Scrib Ranger, because then we can attack with both Spirit and Mum, killing the Narset and the Khan, but then also having a way to untap the Mum to protect the Spirit if needed. This also gives us access to future mana next turn, which is pretty awesome. So this kills the Khan, this kills the Narset. And then I actually get to go untap Bird, Savannah, play second Spirit. That's pretty cool. But yeah, Luanil, I like your line. Because then Leo's a live draw. I might even just go for Knight of Autumn next turn, taking out the Saga. That could just be... I guess we have Collector Oof as well. Yeah, Spirit of Mav has been really nice. It's pretty aggressive. It allows you to slow down a lot of decks you want to slow down. That Thalia just doesn't slow down as much anymore. They still have the bridge, that's very correct. I don't mind Green Sunning here and seeing what they do. I'm gonna Green Suns for 3 as well to have like that. Honestly, I could just Green Suns for 5 here and see if they do anything. I feel if I go for 3, they might do something else. But there is a world where they don't respond to a Green Suns for 3. Yeah, we do have a few outs to bridge, which is nice. And also, if we get Collector Oof here, we turn off a lot of their mana. They might be thinking Knight of Autumn here. Oh, they don't respond. We get Collector Oof, and now they can't make a token, which is huge. That's really good. Nice. Oof. Okay. We're looking at mono blue. The forces seem pretty nice, especially against the Khan version of the deck. The deafening silences don't seem too bad at just trying to slow them down as well. Obviously not as great on the draw, but they're probably better than other cards. I'm going to assume they're playing a Hull Breacher. Actually, I think Trap on the draw is probably just better than Deafening Silence. Especially seeing the Lotus Petals. They have Echo, so they obviously have LED as well. I think we can drop a Wasteland. I think that's pretty good. And I think the Ramanap can... Oh, I guess they are playing... we can definitely play the Choke. I was going to say that... I mean, they didn't play any islands then. But the Wastelands do hit Saga, so that's relevant. I think the commands can go. Non-creature, non-land, yeah. Spirits are great, Thalia is great, Swords is still fine, or just making sure we have outs. I think the Endurances can come down, probably to just one, and then have these. And then probably see a bit more of the deck, and then maybe make some adjustments based on things like Deafening Silence, potentially. Shifting Ceratops is also pretty nice, pro-blue. But it does get bounced by the land. Yeah, let's just see how this goes. A Trap opener would be sweet. Okay, and this is a fantastic hand. We have 2 ways of getting white sources for the birds, for the spirits, sorry. Apologies. Yeah, we're gonna keep this. One spell. 2 spell. Honestly, we just hit Khan here. Yeah, we're definitely... That's a great feeling. Feel my wrath. Feel it. And I think if we draw Wasteland here, we're just going to Wasteland the Ancient Tomb. Oh, we drew another trap. No difference here. The Hierarch can at least attack. So if we draw into a white source, we could also do that. Nothing. Sadly, we can't double white spell this turn. But we can go bird. Nice. All right. Well, we finished up 3-2, and I think that was a good matchup, just showing how good Spirit of the Labyrinth is, which is pretty nice. The maybe board. Witherbloom command was okay. There was a point where getting back that extra land was really nice against the Cloudpost Wasteland deck to make sure we get to 3 mana. But otherwise, didn't really face a lot of decks that it came up against to be relevant. What do we play against? We played against, like, mono blue Echo. We went down to the Epic Gamble. And also Sudden Substitution. What else did we play? Hey Norway, welcome. Oh, we played against like a Stiffer pile. And then that Wasteland Cloudpost deck. Metalworker Post. But yeah, I think the Witherblooms are probably where there's flex. I mean, we're going down to probably just going back to the Prismatic Ending in the main deck as the 60. The extra endurances are nice. I mean, I think that was a pretty great showing of the matchups like the post decks where you want the knights. And having 2 is more than fine. There wasn't a real case of wanting to really get to the extra one, but I could see going back to like a 3-3 split and putting the extra endurance in the board. But there is a world where endurance then is kind of just better than the shifting Ceratops, because it does the same things against Delver that I really want, other than being able to fog a Murktide. But it allows me to hopefully not allow my opponent to cast Murktide, so it's kind of a case of not letting them have the threat, then letting them have the threat and trying to give it to them. I think if anything, it's probably a case of, in the leagues especially, having more access to free spells like Trap, and then being able to back that up with Deafening Silence. So there could be a world where it's better to really make sure we have some combo hate in like 6 pieces of combo hate, and then maybe getting rid of the parts. Murktide's definitely an issue, but we do have ways to deal with it. Swords, Grist, Scrib Ranger, not allowing them to have the graveyard. The other big card is Scavenging Ooze, and if Ooze is really relevant. Newton's been going back and forth on it recently, which is cool. The incremental graveyard hate is quite nice. The incremental life gain is also relevant at times. But Endurance is just so good at doing what it does best. The other big thing is Scooz being 2 mana means it's a kind of 2 mana beater if you want to get something that isn't Collector Oof. Just start grinding the game away. And the other thing is Planeswalkers. Planeswalkers typically do well in Maverick, especially in the board. Having the Grist is nice because it is a Green Sun's target. So you're going to see it a lot more than any sort of other walker that you play. And that's the thing, like, in this version I've kind of played the Tiles Tracker in the sideboard for the grindy matchups because you do have access to it through Green Suns, whereas something like a Nissa or a Wandering Emperor or a Vraska, you're just not going to see it as much as you really want to. So that's why I kind of like grinding with creatures than grinding with walkers currently. Leovold also just like pretty much a Planeswalker to what it does on a board, so that's pretty cool as well. But like, I love Abzan Maverick. I really love the colors, but I do think that if I was going to take Maverick to something like a challenge, then I would be packing Blasts and probably playing the Red Splash. It's just a case of, like, is Punishing Fire where you want to be? And that's probably the big part of the deck. Punishing Fire and the Stoneforge Mystic package. In a 4-mum build, I really like Stoneforge with Kaldra because it just really pressures opponents that otherwise Maverick takes a lot of time to set up. But Kaldra with Mum and Stoneforge is just super, super strong. Punishing Fire does have some merit, especially with the reach, but it does take up a few slots. So that's always an interesting one. I know Mark's been working on a 4-color version, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's cool to be playing a bit of Mav because I haven't played it in a little bit, especially with Depths doing so well recently. So that's always pretty good fun. But hey, that's me. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you want to find me on YouTube, you can find me here. If you want to find me on Twitter, you can find me here. And of course, there is a new Discord, which you can join here for the Zenith to get all my updates on when I go live, tweet, produce new content. It's obviously free. And it looks like the Legacy Pit is streaming, which is really cool. So I'm going to send you guys over there, but enjoy your weekends, stay safe, and I'll be back pretty soon. Not too sure what I'll be playing, but do have a few co-streams to catch up on, so that should be pretty cool. But yeah, until then, just fighting the fair fight. So I'll see you guys later. Cheers.